Hello, and welcome to Let the Growth Flow, a spiritual place to heal mind, body, and soul. My name is Alexis, and I'll be your host. My hope for this podcast is to help people learn about all things spiritual, at the same time allowing themselves to heal in any way that they need to. I plan to do that by sharing my own spiritual experiences, as well as bringing other spiritual mentors onto the show. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Let the Growth Flow. So I am going to start with a couple updates. I did not post an episode last week, and honestly, I am not going to apologize for it, but I am going to let you guys know that for the last week and a half, I was having a very, very, very hard time finding motivation to do a lot of things other than relax. So I'm super curious if anybody else was feeling that way, because we did start Mercury retrograde, and that is when I kind of first started feeling super unmotivated. So curious if anybody else was feeling the same way, finding it hard to find motivation or do more than the bare minimum. DM me on any social media outlet and let me know. And my other update is, I signed up for a mediumship development course with Squamish Medium. It is 6 weeks long, and it is the first development I have done for mediumship. So I'm super excited. I found out that I could connect with the other side it's been over a year now, and I've been really, really wanting to find a development circle, and I was so drawn to Squamish Medium. So I did the thing and I signed up today, and I'm so excited. I will definitely keep you all updated on stories from that development circle and how I like it. So definitely stay tuned for that. And today's episode is going to be more about my story and my why. So it has been hard for me to get to a point of sharing this also. And I went back and forth on how detailed I wanted to be and not be. And I ultimately have decided on being vulnerable and sharing what I have been through and have grown through. I have let the growth flow, so to speak. So find a spark of motivation within them to reach out for help or to keep going. That's all I can hope for. I want to share my story because they are my whys in what I do today, which is Reiki and mediumship. And also, I just want to share my story because it is not all rainbows and butterflies. And honestly, my life has been hard. And I know there's many other people out there who have had hard lives and have gone through hard things. And sometimes it's really easy to give up. And I don't want anybody out there to feel like they need to give up. And if my story can help one person, so there's many reasons why I do what I do. But I do want to put a trigger warning on this episode because I will be discussing depression, anxiety, and sexual assault. So if you are a person who could be triggered by depression, anxiety, or sexual assault, I do invite you to not listen to this episode today. I want you to take care of yourself and be mindful of what you can and cannot handle. So, my story. I grew up with my dad being an alcoholic and honestly, emotionally not always there. I love him dearly, and I held nothing against him. We all are on a huge healing journey called life, and we all heal at different times and different rates. But I did have a lot of things happen as a child and throughout my entire childhood leading up to me moving out that were difficult because of that. But I have also been sexually assaulted 7 times in my life. The first time I was in first grade. The second time I was a freshman in high school, and it was my first sexual encounter with a man. the next time I was 15. It happened twice when I was 18, twice when I was 19. So that was really hard for me. I honestly did not realize what had happened to me was sexual assault and rape until I was a sophomore in college. I had went to a sexual assault awareness presentation on my campus, and I had to leave the presentation because I was having a panic attack and crying. I just did not know what a sexual assault and rape were until it was point blank defined in front of me on a presentation. And that's a whole nother issue that we could get into. I knew that things were wrong, but I couldn't really come to the understanding of what had happened to me and label it sexual assault or rape. So after that presentation, I spiraled into the deepest depression of my life. I gained a lot of weight. I was sleeping anytime I could. I would still go to work. I'd go to classes, but any downtime I had between classes, I would go home and sleep. Even if it was 50 minutes, I'd walk back to my sorority. I'd sleep. I'd wake up, go to my next class. I'd come back, sleep. I'd go to work. I'd come home from work. I'd sleep for like 2 to 3 hours, and then I'd wake up and do my homework at night. So I shut a lot of people out. I know my roommates at the time. I shut out a lot. I just cried and I couldn't talk about anything because at the time, talking about emotions was very foreign to me. And so it took me a while to work out of it. I did go to traditional talk therapy. I honestly don't even think I fully went to talk therapy to deal with sexual assault or trauma. I was never really comfortable talking about it. It is something I want to go do today. I have worked through it thanks to Reiki and womb healing, but I do always think everybody can benefit from traditional talk therapy. So that is something I am searching for also. And the really huge reason why I do Reiki is because Reiki helped me heal all the trauma I was holding on to physically in my body from sexual assault. But so the story I really wanted to share about this is my sophomore year of college. I was 19. I began having these really, really, really bad cramps. I mean, it felt like somebody was stabbing me in the lower left. It was mostly on my lower left side. And it would make me double over when it happened. And I'd have to just hold my stomach where it was hurting and breathe. This was happening a lot. It wasn't just on my period. It occurred all the time. So after a while, I was thinking I need to go to the doctor. I need to get this figured out. I got every single test done that I could. I had pap smears. I had ultrasounds. I had blood work. I went to like 3 different doctors, and I even went to the emergency room like 2 different times because the pain was so bad in like the middle of the night. And it's just like, you know, your body and you know something's not right. And then all the doctor visits, the ER visits, every time to just be told there's nothing wrong. I know there are so many other, especially women out there who experience the same thing. So if you haven't heard it from a doctor, hear it from me today. Your pain is valid. Your feelings are valid. I hope you find a doctor who will take you seriously. But it was really disheartening to have this pain in my body so often, and for every single doctor, every single test to tell me that nothing's wrong. It was really frustrating. It was really disheartening, and it made me feel crazy because it's like I wasn't making this up. I am not making this up. This is happening. So I did Reiki for the first time. I have shared that experience on the podcast. I think it might be the first episode I share this story, but basically the first time I did Reiki was the first time I felt like myself since I was a freshman in high school, and that was the second time I was sexually assaulted. So it was really huge for me to feel so connected with myself. Like, I just remember my freshman year of high school, a really big shift happening for me where I started experiencing depression and anxiety, and I couldn't connect it back to the sexual assault, but now I can, years later, going through therapy and talking. But in return, it also helped me heal emotionally. Just being able to feel so close to myself since then was eye-opening. And then I, through learning Reiki, had opened up about my sexual assault truly for the first time. And I was very lucky that my mentor at the time was a womb healer. What she specialized in Reiki is healing womb trauma. So I actually did about 3 total Reiki sessions that were geared towards womb healing with my mentor, Carolina Sotomayor. After the very, very first session I had with her, I think it was 45 minutes to an hour long. After that very first session, guess what pain never showed up for me again? The pain in my lower left and right side, like in my ovary space. My women out there, it's like period cramps times I don't even know what. Felt like somebody was stabbing me, right? Those completely went away after that first session. So for me, that was really eye-opening, and I had felt the effects of Reiki emotionally, but once I started doing the womb healing, I could feel it physically. It really opened my eyes to how much we can hold on to trauma in our bodies energetically. And it made me realize that I wasn't crazy, that there was something going on and I was holding on to it, these traumas. Also, it helped me realize how much these sexual assault cases took away from my self-worth and my self-love and my confidence. And I was able to work on those things and work through them and how to change them and how to release the fact that those things happened to me. They are not me. Those things happened and they made me feel this way, but I am not that way. They only made me feel that way. So those are my whys. And I feel like I went through that very quickly. So I just hope I'm stressing how dark my dark times were and how much I did want to give up at certain times. And I truly did think at one point, this is all men want from me. This is all my life is ever going to be, is me being touched when I am not wanting to be touched, or somebody taking advantage of me when I don't want it. And those times were really sad and really hard. I have friends, supportive and loving friends and family, therapists, Reiki practitioners, me learning Reiki, me learning that I can connect with the other side, to thank for me coming out of the deep darkness that I was in. To me, it's crazy if I think back to when I was 19, when I first kind of got triggered into that really deep depression from that sexual assault awareness talk. I'm 23 right now. It's been 4 years. I'm covered in chills. The growth that has happened for me spiritually, mentally, physically is huge. All I want to say to everybody listening is that you are important. You are loved. Your feelings are valid. And don't give up. Be brave. Take hard steps. And reach out for help if you need help. I am always here for you. I have tons of resources. And I would love, love, love to help in any way I can. I want to thank you all for listening to today's episode, because I know it was a little heavier, but it felt really important that I needed to state why, more in depth, why I do what I do, and why I'm so passionate about it, and just to share and be vulnerable. So thank you for listening. And as always, you can find me on Instagram at Alexis East Healing. Everywhere else, it's Alexis East Intuitive Healing. You can book appointments for online Reiki, online tarot readings, and online medium readings at my website, alexiseastintuitivehealing.com. You can also book them through a link on my Instagram profile at Alexis East Healing. Sending you all my love and good vibes. Until next week, let the growth flow.